Apple TV Plus raiding the bookstore again. They've adapted another big book into a TV series. Let's talk about The Changeling. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for The Changeling. This is streaming on Apple TV Plus right now. All the episodes for season one. I'm not sure if this is an ongoing series. They have not announced whether there will be a season two, but I don't think it's established if it's a mini series either. So, perhaps kind of open ended. But anyway, you can check out all the episodes for season one right now. And before we launch into the specifics of this show and my thoughts on it, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here, and just about every day something new goes up. So please consider subscribing, hit that like button, comment below, all that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. All right, so The Changeling. This is a horror thriller drama show, but it is not based on the 80s horror movie called The Changeling. Same exact name. That was also a horror movie that involved a little bit of similarity. I sort of read the plot on it because I wasn't sure, but then it turns out no, this is based on a book that came out just a few years ago. So obviously, not about the 80s movie, but a couple of similarities actually, if you did see that. But the book was written by Victor Laval, if you're familiar with him. But this stars Lakeith Stanfield. Of course, we've seen him in many things at this point, mostly movies though. I can't think if he's done any TV. Mostly movies, but he plays Apollo, who is a used book dealer. And this basically is a show about him and his search for his wife after she does something horrible in the wake of the birth of their first child. So it's him and the child kind of on a mission, and there's some horror stuff along the way. And Apollo's mother, played by Adina Porter, and his wife, played by Clark Bacco. He's the only person really I recognize from this show, at least in the main cast. There's a few people along the way, but so yeah, look, this show is kind of all over the place, but more importantly, they're not giving you any sort of context for a lot of what's going on. And I don't mind a slow build. I don't mind, like, okay, some questions here. What is this leading to? But Apple put the first 3 episodes of this show up on the first day. They usually do that. They have like the week by week model, but usually they'll put up the first 2 or usually 3 episodes of something just to kind of get you hooked. And then you're like, okay, cool, I want to come back for more. But here's the problem. By the end of the first 3 episodes, I still didn't really know a lot of what was going on, and because of that, I didn't care about what was going on. Lakeith, obviously, he's given us great performances over the years, and I think his performance as Apollo is good, but I'm not even sure he knows what he's supposed to be doing. And I give you, okay, that the character is supposed to be a little bit confused about what's happening, and that translates. But even Lakeith himself seems to not really know what he's supposed to be doing half of the time. And it's not necessarily a bad performance. I don't think I've ever seen him give a bad performance, but this is teetering on the edge of, I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to be doing performance. And boy, that translates to me, as the audience. I was very confused. And look, I love Lost. That's like the classic example of, okay, we don't really know what half of this stuff is that's going on, but we're going to go along for the journey. And yeah, okay, they maybe didn't piece it out fast enough on Lost either, but this is really all over the place with its tone. In some cases, it is a horror. In some cases, it's just a straight up drama. Like, I didn't really get a lot of horror vibes, for a little while watching this. But I knew from the description that I read of the book that it's a horror. So I'm like, okay, yeah, there's some disturbing imagery for sure. But does that classify something as horror? And so, look, I only ended up watching the first 3 episodes of this because I feel like if a show can't hook you in 3 episodes, I'm not going to waste my time, even to review it. I'm not going to waste my time watching the rest of it. So I will say, okay, maybe it picks up in the latter half. But as a viewer, Apple should kind of make people want to watch more episodes, and this did not do that at all. It was, tonally a mess. I will say the central conceit about what happens, and this, goes into spoilers, so I won't say it, but what's going on after the woman gives birth, like, okay, Apollo's baby is born, and like that chunk is fairly interesting. But then it just goes in so many different directions without much of a focus. I couldn't follow or care about what was happening, because I didn't know. So definitely, in the negative column for me on Apple. They keep, getting these books, and okay, let's turn them into TV shows. And so far, at least in 2023, they've been fairly disappointing. The Jennifer Garner one was not that great. There's been a whole host of them that I've reviewed, and I don't think any of them have really stood out as like, okay, this is, one to watch for sure. And this is another one. I'm not sure. Obviously it's, different directors and different producers, but Apple TV's got to, I think, focus that up a little bit and say, okay, look, if we're going to adapt this great book, let's adapt it, right, or whatever. Maybe the book's a mess too. I don't know. I've never read it. I never heard of it actually until, this show came out. But in any event, yeah, this is a miss for me. I leave The Changeling with a D+. Not a bad performance from Lakeith Stanfield, I think, but a very confused performance, if nothing else. So, all right, that will do it for Dan Reviews It. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want, you can check this out on Apple TV+. We'll see you next time. Bye.